Ladies and gentlemen, we have some massive Bitcoin news we have to talk about before everything else. Now, I hope everybody's excited about this week. It's going to be massive, a lot of opportunities. But first, let's talk about Bitcoin because there's some massive news coming out from India, of all places, about Bitcoin, and they're quite concerning. According to a Reuters article, an official from the government of India was actually talking about them possibly banning Bitcoin in all shapes or forms, including holding or trading or everything. Now, I want to show you this article and let's talk about it in a second, and I'll explain to you why I think India is doing it, how likely they are to succeed, and how likely the US actually to possibly ban Bitcoin in the future. All questions I'm going to answer in the next 5 minutes, not more.
My name is Tom Nash, and I quit my corporate job as a senior financial analyst to break down companies for you. If there's one thing you need to know about me, I don't take bullshit from anybody.
Okay, so here is the article from Reuters from 5 hours ago. India to propose cryptocurrency ban, penalizing miners. Why would you penalize miners? I mean, they're just kids. Traders, source. I mean, the source has nothing to do with it. Why would you penalize the source? Anyways, probably one of the worst headlines I've seen, not from an actual Bitcoin perspective, but from a syntax perspective. Who wrote this shit? Anyways, so according to this article, which you can see right here, India is actually contemplating banning Bitcoin. Basically, an official from the Indian government actually came out and said that they're proposing a new law that will essentially make it, check it out, illegal to do anything with Bitcoin, including any holding, trading, mining, and they'll give you 6 months to actually liquidate your position so you don't become a criminal just for the sheer holding of Bitcoin which you had before the law was enacted. Now, this is lunacy. I'll explain in a second why. But first of all, why are they doing this? I mean, is there a reason for them doing it? Well, yes. The reason is you just have to look at what other countries did it. China did it. Russia did it. Pakistan did it. Should I say any more? I mean, it's obviously a matter of control. These governments are basically going to say, hey, we're doing this to prevent criminal activity. But in all honesty, it's a matter of control. These centralistic countries don't like to lose grasp on the actual money-making markets, and this decentralized coin scares them, rightfully so. It's about to replace them, but I think banning it is definitely not the answer. And the real question here, because we don't really care that much about what the Indian government will do, because in all honesty, even though I love India, honestly, I love that country, but the important thing is what the US is going to do about Bitcoin, because it's going to dictate whatever we have to deal with as far as cryptocurrencies. Now, first of all, here's the question. How likely is the US government to actually do the same? To actually ban Bitcoin? Is it possible? Well, let me explain why I think the answer is no, but I want you to hear my arguments, and then at the end, I'll have a little surprise for you. So check it out. So first of all, you have a legal issue here. Of course, this is already deeply ingrained into your economy. Not to mention the fact that Tesla and other companies have already started loading up on Bitcoin. Banks, including the IRS, a lot of institutional organizations and governmental agencies are working with Bitcoin. It's already ingrained into their ecosystem. You're going to have a lot of legal issues pulling that out of the system. That's what she said.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
That was just a joke. I can see all the feminists already like, let's get this, mother effer. I was just kidding. Whenever I hear pull out, it just makes me laugh. We're getting sidetracked here. Okay, so I took a little 2-minute breather just to relax. I was on the floor laughing, couldn't stop myself. I'm going to put that clip on Patreon for you guys to see what actually went on here for the last 2 minutes. It wasn't pretty. But in all seriousness, beyond the legal issues, you have to understand that a lot of these billionaires that have a lot of lobbying power and have a lot of good friends in good places, they're already stacked up on Bitcoin quite significantly. They ain't gonna like somebody trying to fuck with their money, you know what I mean? So I don't actually think that the government or any type of administration that have these friends would want to fuck them. I mean, it's just that simple. When rich people get involved with Bitcoin, I mean, not rich like my uncle, but I mean gazillion rich like Mr. Elon Musk. Run! Wrong sound effect, motherfucker. I need a producer. I mean, in all jokes aside, here's the thing. A lot of these billionaires who have friends in high places have already stacked up on a lot of Bitcoin. They ain't gonna appreciate any administration trying to fuck with their money, you know what I mean? So the fact that Elon has it and a lot of these rich guys, and I don't mean rich like my uncle, I mean like really wealthy rich, like legitimately rich billionaires, the sort of guy that can buy country. Russia, for example. Buy me, Elon, please. I'm for sale and I'm cheap. Buy me. Anyway, so jokes aside, very unlikely from a legal perspective and also from a lobbying perspective as far as everybody who's already involved in Bitcoin. Point number 2, why I think it's never going to happen, is the enforcement issue. How the fuck are you going to enforce this shit? I mean, how would you supervise that? This is on the internet. This is in 1957. You can't just shut down the internet and frisk people's internet. I mean, it doesn't really work that way. It's all digital waters.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
What the fuck is digital waters? It's all in digital wallets. I mean, you can't really enforce that beyond the fact that, you know, if the IRS come knocking on my door, I'm just going to let them know, listen, I lost all my machine guns and AK-47s and a bunch of my Bitcoin in a boating accident. It's gone. How would they prove otherwise? I mean, that's never going to happen. You can't enforce an actual Bitcoin ban in 2021. It's impossible. That's the whole purpose of a decentralized coin. I mean, you can't enforce it. Beyond the fact, look at China, for example, these chumps. I mean, they tried to actually do that shit. And now China has one of the highest hash rates when I say hash rates, it just amuses me. Hash rates. I mean, they have one of the highest hash rates in the universe. I mean, when you ban something, when you make it illegal, when you make it forbidden, we humans wanted more. I mean, that's just simple, like, human psychology. So by banning Bitcoin, you'll be probably appreciating the coin because more people would want more of it. It's just the way it works. Look at prohibition, what it did. I mean, just banning shit that people want, it's just naturally a disaster. That's going to lead to more of it actually being more wanted. Why would you want that? I just said want so many times. I mean, just psychology-wise. I mean, why would you do that? Beyond the fact, and here's the kicker, here's why I think the US would never do it. It is because it makes no sense from a financial standpoint. The US have already determined that Bitcoin is a commodity and not a currency. That it's an important distinction, and I'll explain why. When you say that something is a currency, whenever you exchange currencies, it's not a taxable event, right? If I give you $100, you give me $100, that's not a taxable event. But if it's a commodity and you give me $100, then you sold an asset. That means that was a taxable event for you. That means your buddy in the government gets to cash in. Simple, right? So here's the thing. The US government has already determined, unsurprising, that Bitcoin is a commodity. So every time you have a transaction in Bitcoin, Uncle Sam gets a piece of it, and quite a lot of it. I'm not even talking about the capital gains. Think about the transfer taxes, the gift tax, the estate tax. I mean, every time this thing changes hands, US government gets more cash. Why not? Where's the sound effect? I was asking for this. Come on. Producer. I don't have a producer. If I had one, I would be pissed right now, but I just literally forgot the sound effect. Anyways, I mean, just not making no sense. They're making too much money off Bitcoin to ban it. The US government is swimming in money because of Bitcoin. Tax revenue is through the roof, and it's only going to get better. As Bitcoin appreciates, there's going to be more tax collection. I mean, there's going to be nonsensical for the US government to actually ban Bitcoin. I don't know what the Indians are thinking, but they're out of their mind doing it. It's just such a moronic move. So that's why I think this is all fear-mongering. People just trying to do this loom and gloom headlines. I don't know what's going on, but mainstream media has completely lost it. Using headlines to fear-monger and cause fear and panic. How dare you do something like this? I would have... Oh, shit. 50% of my thumbnails are that. So, I mean, I should be throwing glasses in the stone house. You shouldn't be throwing glasses at a stone house. I mean, oof, what would Freud say about this shit? Any case, so let me read from my notes because I can't do this like verbally. I'm getting out of hand here. Okay, so, serious note. Nobody's banning your Bitcoin. Everything is fine. I mean, by 2025, Bitcoin is going to be worth double or triple or quadruple what it's worth right now. Most likely, it's going to be a bumpy ride. But if you just hold on to it, sleep tight, and just relax, everything is going to be fine. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this was helpful. Don't believe all this fear-mongering and nonsense and gloom and gloom headlines. Nobody is actually taking away your Bitcoins, your bazookas, and your ability to have fun whenever the fuck you want it. And now here's the whole story. My name was Tom. These are my thoughts. I'll see you guys in the next video.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg.